Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Teacher Talks, or welcome for your first ever Teacher Talks. Lovely to see so many people joining in and sharing already. I see greetings and hellos and introductions from so many different corners and parts of the world. So we are very thrilled to be connected and together today for our November edition of Teacher Talks. If you are joining in as a teacher or educator or school-based staff or any classroom extraordinaire, you are in the right place. Today is our November edition of Teacher Talks, and we are so very glad that you're here to join us. My name is Hannah Harris. I am a community manager here at Kahoot, and today I'll be serving as your host, your MC, your fellow learner and player throughout our webinar event today. We are here and gathered to talk through, to brainstorm, to share some inspiration and ideas on all the different ways that Kahoot can make learning awesome in any sort of classroom environment. We see all sorts of curriculum, subject areas, content ideas, grade levels, ages, formats, environments, virtual, in person, you name it. All different ways that Kahoot can be used, implemented, and woven into classroom curriculums to ensure that all students can partake in interactive, engaging, and awesome learning, that truly, truly engaging experience that is at the heart of all things Kahoot. One awesome aspect of my job, just to share a personal anecdote, is that I have the very great privilege and true honor of connecting with so many awesome educators and Kahoot teachers every single day. I get to hear the behind the scenes, the inside scoop, the personal stories, so many celebratory anecdotes and firsthand accounts of what actually happens in classroom learning. And in all of these conversations, I've really gotten to learn so much on what Kahoot looks like in classrooms. And of course, it's so familiar and recognizable now, but still new, innovative, unique ways that Kahoot can be woven into classroom curriculums that are brand new to me. Like, I learned from one of our teacher ambassadors, Vicky, who's based in New York City, that she uses Kahoot with her middle schoolers, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders learning science, a different format of using Kahoot that really depends on the customization tools and the features and personalization that makes Kahoot fit different learning abilities and education environments. Whereas another educator, TT, who's based in Santa Rosa, California, uses Kahoot solely and specifically to teach American Sign Language. Both of these educators you're actually going to hear from today, and I'm so excited to give you the opportunity to learn from them, just as I'm learning from you and other educators, and it's truly what makes the learning experience on Kahoot and webinars like these so powerful and so awesome. So no matter if you're joining in from South Carolina, from Jordan, from Turkey, from Pennsylvania, from Pakistan, from Germany, I'm seeing so many different places and connections and locations today. Bucharest, another from Romania, Barcelona, another from New York, Czech Republic. The list goes on. And really the spirit of these Teacher Talk webinars is to give you an opportunity to learn, feel inspired, and get excited about all the learning and all the experiences that happen on the Kahoot platform. So we'll get right into it in just a minute. I do want to review and remind a few of our housekeeping details and what you kind of can expect from this webinar today. Our plan is to first join in a behind the screen demonstration from one of our pedagogical experts, Pekka, who'll be joining first. Then we'll welcome a few different Kahoot ambassadors on the virtual stage. We'll hear from Vicky in Staten Island. She'll join us for some on-stage tips and insider tricks on how she's been using Kahoot tools with her students. And then we'll finally finish with a live Kahoot from TT with examples from her ASL class. And in all of that experience, or in that entire packed agenda, a few things to remember on your side and your responsibility: that all of our sessions will be recorded today. The recording has already began and will last through the duration of the event. So if you need to step away at any time, no problem. You can always tune back in live or even watch on demand. We'll send a link to that recording as soon as the webinar finishes. You can expect to get that in your email inbox in case you want to watch it back or even share it with a colleague. So if at any point you need to step away, No problem. We're glad that you were able to join us for even a small bit of your school day. We have a fantastic group of crew members that are here, myself included, that will be monitoring and moderating our chat tool today. If you have any questions specifically about what you see on screen or what's being shared, demonstrated, discussed, please use the Q&A tool instead of the chat. This helps us keep track of those questions, make sure that we're not losing any focuses or ideas or questions or clarifications, and really able to keep track of those questions as they come in. We'll do our best to answer and attend to the questions as they're passed along and shared. Should you have any lingering questions at the end of our webinar today, no problem. We'll answer offline. To email us at community@kahoot.com, and we'll do our best to problem solve with you through the screen and through the email. So definitely stay in touch with us both online today in the chat and Q&A, and always stay in touch with us after the fact too. But without further ado, I'm 1 minute past my introduction already. So let's get started. Pekka is going to join us on stage and share the click-by-click directions on how you might organize, create, and share some new content with your students, whether in one class roster, across an entire session or school day, or even amongst teachers. As Pekka begins, I just also want you to really keep your eyes peeled for some of the many, many tools and customizations and features today that are really going to help personalize learning experiences that become just right for your students. So welcome, Pekka. I'll hand over to you. Thanks for joining.
Thank you, Hannah, and I'm really excited to be here today. I'm also a former teacher. I've been teaching 10 years in high school in Finland. I'm also located in Finland, so hello to everyone. I'm gonna start by sharing my screen. So you are able to see my Kahoot platform homepage. I'm gonna give you a live example of Kahootopia, and we are going to play accuracy mode game today together. But today's topic is inclusivity, and one really cool feature, if you haven't tried, is Kahootopia. It's about celebrating the success, celebrating the learning together with your students. And we are going to have a live demo with accuracy mode, and I'm gonna choose a Kahoot that we are going to play. It's Teacher Talks November edition. And before I'm gonna start, I'm going to show you some settings that we have, especially related to inclusivity and accessibility. One is this show questions on device. We are going to have it today, so you will see how it looks like when you are joining the game. You will see the questions and answer options on your device. Also, with accessibility features, we have one is increasing contrast, and the other one that is available with the accuracy mode is unlimited time. So if you want to make a low stress Kahoot with your students, and you are hosting it in live, you are able to use this unlimited time to lower the stress, and you can choose when to move on. For personalized learning, if you want to let the participants practice questions they got wrong after the Kahoot, it's also possible. And we are going to also use this nickname generator today. So if you want to really lower the bar for your students to join, you can also let the nickname generator be on for your students to use it. And you are able to experience that also right now. So please scan this QR code so you are able to join the game, or then just go to kahoot.it or open your Kahoot app and use the game pin 10234446. And yes, we are having already 25 participants. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of time to join before we are going to launch this game. Okay, so we are 43 now, and you are able to join whenever with this game being 1, 0, 2, 3, 4, 4, 6. And I'm going to start now when we have more than 50 players already in. And as we are going to play this accuracy mode, so what I want to say is in this mode, the speed is not making any difference. So only the right answers are counting. So you are not getting bonus points if you are answering faster than others. Everyone gets, if the answer is correct, everyone are on the same level. So the idea is to collect as many correct answers as possible. And this is something that many students and teachers have told us that they really love this feature, where it's a bit more low stress, not so competitive, because the time is not mattering. So let's start my presentation today. And the topic is inclusivity and Kahoot learning experience. And one good way of starting a Kahoot lesson is to ask, for example, the participants' mood today. So what is your mood today? Please drop a pin. So you can drop a pin in the picture and then press submit for saving the answer. And this is a poll kind of a question, but I'm using a image for you to answer. So I see a lot of different feelings. A lot of you are feeling warm and hearth and good. Also, some of you have had a bit rough day today. That's okay. So Kahoot, I probably know if you have used Kahoot, you know that the students are really highly engaged when using Kahoot, but the Kahoot is not only engagement, it's a lot more. And we are really good situation because there's hundreds of studies made around Kahoot. I think Kahoot is one of the most researched learning platform there is globally. And we have had really good results from the studies. We know that the Kahoot promotes learning. Students are getting higher grades. It is having positive effect on their attitudes towards learning. And Kahoot also reduces anxiety among teachers. And one thing is retention. The average students using Kahoot retains information better than about 93% of students who are not using Kahoot. So these are really amazing study results that have come from different universities, different schools who have been studying Kahoot. What about inclusive learning? So we are trying to create a positive classroom where every student can participate and succeed. And here are 3 points how Kahoot is supporting this inclusive learning. One is we are adapting to diverse needs. So we have different features like read aloud, high contrast mode, and images as answers for that. Also, this reducing learning anxiety is a big thing. So Kahoot is trying to create a safe, low-stakes environment to build students' confidence and self-efficacy. So everyone can participate and they can learn with the stress environment that is not so stressful. Also, the participation is easy, and interaction between teachers is easy when using Kahoot. And then this flexible pacing, you can use Kahoot for offering self-paced learning, self-paced assignments for your students. So for students,
Is Kahoot's Read Aloud feature beneficial for students with reading difficulties or visual impairments?
and I'm going to repeat this. This is an example how it works.
Is Kahoot's Read Aloud feature beneficial for students with reading difficulties or visual impairments?
So when using Kahoot app, students can use, for example, this read aloud feature. And yes, almost all of you got this right. And also you can see here an example of using images as answers. Great. And now we are experiencing this accuracy mode. So instead of having a scoreboard where the fastest one got most of the points, every one of you who got this right are seen in here right now. So there is not like who is first, who is second, who is third. All of you who got this right, all the 66 of you are seen here now together. So Kahoot learning experience, we have a lot of different features, a lot of different tools for you to promote learning and support your students' learning for teaching. And this model is something where we try to show you in a quite easier way in which different stages Kahoot can be useful in learning and in teaching. So with Kahoot, you can motivate, you can engage, students can explore, they can consolidate their learning, they are able to reflect and also master the knowledge. And for you, teacher, you can use Kahoot in different stages in the teaching and learning cycle. You can use Kahoot for efficient preparation, for impactful instruction, for playful practice, for memorable review, for effective assessment, and for group achievement. And I'm going to show really quickly a few of the features that we have in each of these stages in teaching and learning cycle. So for example, for efficient preparation, our AI generator is a must-to-try feature if you haven't tried it. Also, slide sync is something that is really making the life of teachers a lot easier. For example, I used the slide sync when creating this Kahoot for you today. So this slide you are seeing right now, I created this in Google Slide, and then I imported it into Kahoot. But it's not only importing the slide, you can also sync your Google account with Kahoot. So whenever I made some changes to these slides, I could easily sync with one click my Kahoot with the new edited slides. So it's making the work for teachers a lot easier. For impactful instruction, you can teach interactive and engaging lessons with different modes. For example, lecture mode is one of my favorite mode, but also this accuracy mode is really great for creating less competitive feeling for this. And I have a pin answer question for you next. What specific game mode removes the competitive pressure of the timer and focus purely on correctness? So I'm using here a pin answer tool. So you are able to move the image on your device and then press submit when you have placed your pin on the answer you think is correct one. And I see that there is accuracy mode, team mode, and lecture mode had most of the answers, and the correct one here is accuracy mode. So this mode is really for removing the pressure because you are able to remove the timer or give more time, and also the time is not giving any more points if someone is answering faster or slower. So we have again a lot of you who got the answer correct, and all of you are seen here right now. For playful practice, you are able to assign Kahoots for students for self-paced learning. We have different self-study tools, also like flashcards, practice mode, study mode for students. And one tip is to give your students to chance to create Kahoots on their own and host them to peers. One thing why Kahoot is so effective is this instant and automated feedback. So it gives students the feedback right away at the time when they are learning new concepts, and it's automated, so it's easier for teacher. You are also able to differentiate learning by assigning personalized Kahoots, for example. And let's have a multi-select question. So there is more than one correct answer for this question. Which of the following features or practices in Kahoot directly support an inclusive learning environment? So what do you think, which of these are supporting inclusive learning environment? Select all the answers you think are correct and then press submit for answering. And yeah, almost all got some votes, but read aloud technology, image as answers, student pace mode, and nickname generator got the most, and also this high contrast themes. So requiring logging for all players is not one of the correct answers here. The fifth sections in our learning experience model is effective assessment. So this is really a tool for teachers also, especially this advanced report tool that we have. It's giving really great analytics for teachers to support learning. You will be learn more of that later today. And the last thing is group achievement. So this Kahootopia that I showed you in the beginning, and we will end also in this Kahootopia, it's really about celebrating success together. So you can celebrate class achievement and inclusive learning with collective rewards. So we are earning rewards together when learning. And this is the last question for you. This is a poll question with drop-in. So when you are teaching, what do you think, at what stage of your teaching cycle could you use Kahoot the most to promote inclusivity? So when promoting inclusivity, which of the stages is it the instruction phase or assessment phase or practice phase you could use Kahoot the most? What do you think? Okay, great. All of these got answers, and I see that you think that Kahoot can be used in many phases for promoting learning, but also promoting inclusivity. That's great. Shortly, if you want to learn more, we have 10-minute PD courses for you. We have a dedicated channel for this. So if you want to learn how to generate Kahoots with AI in 10 minutes, or learn how to use lecture mode in 10 minutes, or learn how to use accuracy mode in 10 minutes. So if you have 10-minute time and you want to learn a new skill, how to use Kahoot, some of our best features, we have courses for you, quick and easy courses for you to learn this. If you want to learn even more, become the ultimate Kahoot superstar, we have Kahoot certified for school program. So there is 3 approximately 30-minute courses called Bronze, Silver, Gold. So you can go to kahoot.com/certified if you want to really learn how to use Kahoot in diverse settings. And last thing, we also have dedicated pages for accessibility and inclusive learning. So kahoot.com/accessibility and kahoot.com/special education are places for you to go if you want to learn more from this. My colleagues will drop these links to the chat. So that was it. And now let's check who are in the third place. So I see many of you who got one of the 3 questions right. And here we see all of you who got 2 out of 3 right. And everyone who got all the questions right are here celebrating together. So this is the accuracy mode. We don't have podium of only one winner. We are celebrating the learning together. So there are many of you who got the gold. And now we are back in the Kahootopia island, and all of you who participated are seeing your characters here celebrating the learning together. And we can also claim the rewards we got for learning today. So we have a new building in our Teacher Talk Island. So great. So this is how the Kahootopia is also working for making learning more inclusive and how we can celebrate the learning together. That was all what I wanted to say. Thank you, and back to you, Hannah.
Thank you so much, Pekka. My favorite part of all of these sessions is to see how our class island is growing through all of these Kahoot Teacher Talk webinars each month to month. So thank you for showing us from start to finish, or from pin to podium, even in accuracy mode, how our learning has really leveled up. And I truly think the larger theme and kind of piece to remember throughout this entire webinar and Pekka's session so far, and what you'll hear from Vicky in just a moment, is that it's not about creating new curriculum or new lesson plans. Really, inclusive learning experiences and lessons are just built in, existing within the Kahoot features that are already there, allowing you to adjust the learning environment to fit the needs of your students and not the other way around. We want to create materials, create learning experiences, create lessons, Kahoots, and courses that meet students where they are, not just expecting students to fit into a mold that we're creating. And with all these customizations, you already saw some from Pekka, you'll see more from Vicky in just a moment, really make that possible. So joining us next on stage is Vicky from Staten Island, New York City, and she's here to join us to show exactly how she's been customizing, updating, and setting up her digital learning environment for students across several different grade levels and many, many different abilities. So welcome, Vicky. We are glad to have you here. Please take it away from now.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much. And thank you, Pekka, for showing us. I've never used that mode before, and I was interested to see how it works. So it was great to see it work from a kid's view. So now I understand it, and I am going to try that actually tomorrow in my classroom. So I'm going to share my screen because I have my own set of slides. If some of the information is redundant, I'll just try to get through it a little quicker. Because I know Pekka did cover a couple of the things that I had in my slides as well.
And we know from many years of Kahooting that hearing something more than once, and I think you're actually going to talk about this with your students too, is helpful. Yeah. So no need to skip, rush, or gloss over. All fabulous information nonetheless.
Thank you. So are you able to see my screen?
We can see your screen with the preview setup. It might be a little bit more visible to see it in full screen if you can.
Oh, like
you got it.
Okay, I think I did it.
Okay. It's loading, but I think we're in the right track. Awesome.
There we go. Okay, great. And then I have to just, so good morning. My name is Vicky. I currently work at a middle school on Staten Island. I saw some people in the chat were from New York or New Jersey, so welcome. I teach a self-contained class for students depending on the year, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade, and I am a science content teacher. I love using Kahoot, by the way, so I'm really excited to do this presentation. So it's all about the engagement, especially when you teach self-contained or ICT. I think even general ed nowadays, it's hard to engage the students. So I find that students with diverse needs often face challenges with attention and motivation and confidence. The traditional learning of just writing and taking notes, I think leaves a lot of the kids behind, and the game-based learning invites all the students to participate. And now that they have all these different modifications for students with special needs, I think it's great because everybody can be included. And I kind of find like that when the kids feel like they're having a good time, they don't even realize that they're learning. I use Kahoot in my classroom for an array of different things. So this is just a quick summary, and I'm going to go through each one. I use it for test review. I've actually used it for actual testing, work together in teams independently. They can work as a team or self-paced. I've used it for socialization without any academics attached, for like would you rather or reveal Kahoots. I love that it generates reports and content that the kids need to work on. Obviously, engagement, some that the students can lead. And my favorite feature of all is Kahootopia, that has made Kahoot, I think, the next level of fun for myself and the kids. New AI feature, to me, is a total game changer. What used to take me maybe an hour, 2 hours to create a Kahoot, this is really for any teacher. If I have a test review sheet, I will save it in a PDF, upload it to Kahoot where it says here, like it says, generate a Kahoot based on a PDF. And in 5 minutes, all your questions are there with most of the time images. I will go through them, obviously, change them around and modify them. This takes the time in half, if even not a quarter of the time. You can also now with AI just type in, maybe you're doing 6th grade topic of energy, and put in the standard, and all of a sudden Kahoot will generate a Kahoot for you that you can use with your kids. Again, I go through the questions just to make sure, but this has just shaved hours off of my life and made it really easy if you're in a pinch. Maybe you have a sub coming in tomorrow and you want to throw up a couple of Kahoots. This has made it really easy to do that. I do test review. So when I give my students a test, I will give them a review sheet, but I've now not only given them a review sheet, but I've made a Kahoot with that coincides with the review sheet. I assign it independently. So it'll be like, sometimes I assign it for homework. Sometimes I just put it on the Google Classroom for them to do at their leisure. And it's awesome. I've had kids that are like, this was the best. They remember the contents, the information, and they get great grades on their test because they don't really feel like they're doing all that mundane studying. And for students with disabilities and special needs, a lot of them need that constant repetition. So when they play Kahoot in a test review, they can play over and over again. So it definitely is beneficial to use it for test reviews. I've actually used Kahoots for tests, which now I love the accuracy mode. So that's like another game changer for using a Kahoot as a test. But especially in the middle of the year when the kids are like, tired and it's the winter, I have used Kahoots as a test. I've assigned it individually so that way they can't see what everybody else is doing, and that alleviates the stress. Depending on the group of kids, I've done it on the board where they can see who hits the podium and stuff. You have to know your audience. But using it as a test is a great way to alleviate stress. You don't have to grade, because if you can see on my screen here, it actually grades the test for you. So like I know that Kristen got a 78 or Sean got a 67. It will actually grade the test for you. So that also saves me time in grading. So you can also, right, after whether you're using it for test review, classroom fun, or an actual test, Kahoot does an amazing job of breaking down every question. So now I know that this class, the whole class only got an average of a 62%. So to me, something about that content needs to be reviewed, and then Kahoot breaks it down more, lets me know the percentage of each question, which is great, because then I'll take those bottom 5 questions, we can work on them the next day. It will let me know which kid and what they answered for each question, and let me know the top 5 questions that I know the kids have a good handle on. I don't have to bother with that. And these reports are printable, so you can keep them as data, like for your admin, if they're looking for growth. These are a great way to show growth to your admin in tracking assessments, or even just for your own growth, you know, in your own going back. You don't want to review a whole lesson. So now you know you're going to review the bottom 5. This was actually a real class from years ago. You can clearly see their name. They all did well, right? 100%, 92%. So I know, great, those students are on target. I don't have to go back and review. They're going to do great on the test if this was a review. Again, reports help you to identify who is having difficulty and what needs to be reviewed. Data when you're in special ed. So it's great for collecting data. If you have to write IEP goals, you can, write the plops or the goals based on the data that you're collecting, in case you need some concrete, some concrete information to put in there. I think I already mentioned this, but this is each question. So they're actually telling me, so I might grab questions 6, 7, 10, and 13 and say, I need to review those questions. Maybe it will be tomorrow's do now questions. So that way the kids will do them and then we'll review them. So it really does take the guesswork out of, takes the guesswork out of, like, where did they struggle? What should I do? I know I'm going to do 5 questions that they did not achieve well on. Okay, we're going to move on. Game mode, my favorite, another favorite. So we do classic mode, but the kids love Robot Run. Robot Run, I think, is their favorite tallest tower. And when it really does encourage the kids to support each other and socialize. So if you teach self-contained ICT, you might see, or even gen ed, I feel like the kids don't know how to socialize anymore. But when they're in Robot Run, they're like, come on, you can do it, let's go. Or get in the green square, hurry up. So I feel like Robot Run is a good collaborative, tallest tower, quick, go to the left, the right. There's a lot of socialization going on there. So it does, again, brings fun to the learning for kids with all different levels. And the kids enjoy it. Or you can pick one like Treasure Trove, which is they can play independently. But it's also exciting because they get to collect jewels in between. Just adds a little bit more fun and differentiation for any learner. Classic mode, team mode, student-led games. I just went over this. I'll go on. Okay. So this started for me, the would you rathers and the reveals and the fun facts. This started for me during COVID, when we were like teaching remote and in and out of school. The kids actually the kids actually wanted to do something different. So we started Would You Rathers, and the kids just go crazy for them. I've actually had the students give me like the Would You Rather questions, and then I make the Would You Rather based around their questions, and they go wild. They're actually my most played Kahoots, as you can see here, and this might even be an old screenshot. My Would You Rather summer has like 142,000 plays. They are like my most played Kahoots. People love them, and it's just such a great way to be like, Kahoot doesn't always have to be about the academics. It could just be about fun, socializing, having a good laugh. We don't need to be on a podium. We can just learn about each other and have a good time. I feel like Kahoot also builds a lot of confidence, right? It celebrates like their effort. It encourages teamwork, peer interaction, turn taking. And like I said, now, especially with accuracy mode, you can create such a low pressure environment. So if you have those students that really can't handle the podium and the time and the questions, the accuracy mode, I thought was great. I really can't wait to use that with my students. Another engaging way to get your special needs learners involved is let them make Kahoots. They could make, it could be like a project-based learning, maybe in groups. You give them a topic and they have to create the Kahoot, and then we all play, you know, everybody's Kahoot. So you could do it that way. I've had kids for homework submit Kahoot questions to me and then make a review sheet out of their Kahoot questions. So this kind of really gives the kids a handle in their learning. They feel included, and again, takes the pressure off. And regardless of their learning abilities, everybody's included. So it doesn't matter if the question is a simpler one or a more difficult one. Everybody's questions get included and they get a hand in their learning. So now I'll talk about some inclusion features. So like we just saw earlier, the read aloud mode was a total game changer. Years ago, there was no read aloud mode. So a lot of my students would be lost because they were struggling as readers. Now, I always encourage the students to upload Kahoot on their phone. And then they get the read aloud mode. I haven't quite figured out how to get it on the regular platform yet. I think they're still working on that. But when the kids have Kahoot as an app, they get all the questions read to them and the choices, which is amazing for your struggling readers. And I feel like it gives my students more like autonomy, like they're doing the Kahoot. They don't need somebody to read to them. They don't need somebody to help them. Flashcard mode, amazing, right? So your kids are done with their Kahoot. Maybe they got some questions wrong. The flashcards will go through first, like all of the ones that they struggled with. So I love that. You know, some kids just want to have study cards and maybe they don't want to play a game, or they played the game and now they just want to go over the ones that they got wrong. So again, the flashcard mode gives them that sense of autonomy that they're teaching themselves and learning on their own, and that reinforcement that we know all students need. Read aloud, another game changer for students with disabilities and special needs. You can record your voice reading the questions. So, you know, maybe you're having a test review and you want to record, so that way your struggling readers now can just press the button and hear the questions if they're doing it on a laptop. This is amazing. Images, like we saw in the Kahoot we just played. I try to throw in images from time to time to change it up a little bit, but the images make it fun, even just yes/no questions. Or, you know, I can do it. Like there's a lot of fun graphics and I guess what, like memes and stuff like that that you can use for images that'll make it a lot of fun. Also, I know we have like the Italian teacher in the building. She will use the audio mode to speak a sentence in one language, and then the answers are in English, like what did I say? So that's another great way to use that feature. Timer. So I never use 5, 10, or 20 seconds. I find that for students with disabilities, it adds to the anxiety. I usually do about 45 seconds, I feel is enough for everybody. But you can even turn the timer off. So that's another great feature, is that if I assign it at home, I'm able to turn the timer off. I don't do that in the classroom because then you always have the couple of kids that are just waiting and waiting and waiting. So I usually do about 45 seconds. But again, if you have slower learners, they need more processing time, 1 minute, 1 minute and 30. So this is a great feature too, to make it accessible to students with all different processing needs. Videos. I used videos in a couple of my Kahoots. That could be a lot of fun. So you could pre-teach a lesson and upload the video and then have questions afterwards to kind of assess, like, you know, what did they get out of the video, or, you know, a lesson, a video, and then questions. Or you can use the videos, other people's videos, and put them into the Kahoot. So again, I thought this was amazing for students, again, who struggle with reading, or you just want to make your content more engaging. So I think videos are great. Just always go back when you do the YouTube videos, because sometimes because of licensing, they might take them off. So if you do have a Kahoot that you use videos, just, check them before you assign them, because sometimes, like I said, the videos you might have to do, put in a different video. Kahootopia. This is one of my favorite newest features. My kids go crazy for Kahootopia. I go crazy for Kahootopia. So every time we play a Kahoot, this brings all the kids together. What did we get? What was our reward? What did we get today? You can see, if you look, like I have a turkey from Thanksgiving last year. Sorry, welcome to New York. There are sirens in the background. Sorry. I'll wait for them to pass. You'll see, this is actually an older screenshot. I think we're up to like 49, level 49, but you'll see like the rocket is for the robot run. So you get all different cool, I think I have a snowman when we did the winter, and the kids love it. We just did the Kahoot Cup the other day, and the first thing the kids asked me was, what was the reward we got? What did we get for the islands? So it keeps them, like, even if maybe they didn't do great on the Kahoot, they're still engaged to see how our island is growing and what kind of rewards we received. So I do enjoy this. And I think that kind of sums it up. I'm always looking for ways to keep my students engaged, especially since they each learn differently. And Kahoot has just added a whole new level of excitement in my classroom. If these are my my platforms, so like if you want to take a picture, you can find my Kahoots here on the left. And on the right, that's my teacher Instagram. So sometimes I'll post, like if I make new Kahoots, I'll put them up there. And thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to share my knowledge. And if anybody has any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Vicky. Wonderful to hear some reflections in the chat already saying, so excited to have seen all of these features. I'm happy to share them with my coworkers and colleagues and teammates. And I think that's really the crux of why we're all here today, is that we have familiarity with Kahoot already, but there are so many more creative customizations at play, tools to use, experiences to try. So appreciate you sharing an introduction to all of those. And I see people, plenty of thank yous in the chat as well. And thank you from us to you as well. We have one more part of our webinar today. Vicky gave us kind of a sneak peek or glimpse as to what this looked like from the creator side, but I'm excited to show you from the player side what you can expect and what you'll notice, play, and experience with these customizations and features at play, literally. So I'm going to hop right into my Kahoot screen. And as I mentioned before, we have planned for another ambassador to join us today. TT from Santa Rosa, California is no longer able to be here, but not worried at all. And that we have a Kahoot to show the awesome example of all the teaching and curriculum and learning that she has shared. As both a verified creator and an ambassador, TT's Kahoot library is so comprehensive. Just like Vicky shared a link to her profile, definitely encourage you to look at this one later on. All of these formats and lessons might look a little bit different from teacher to teacher, and that TT has been creating hundreds of Kahoot lessons that solely and specifically teach American Sign Language. So if you're like me and this level of learning vocabulary and curriculum might be brand new, hopefully this is just an introduction for you to experience and share and take your first kind of tutorial, if you will. So I am jumping into my Kahootopia class island in the same way that Pekka shared earlier and Vicky does with her class. I have level 12, so not quite level 49, but we're making strides and growing our Kahoot community class island. We have the beautiful autumnal theme in orange and red and yellows, and I'm practicing in lecture mode today. So lecture mode is another game mode similarly to accuracy mode or the other game modes and player experiences. The content and questions on Kahoot stay just the same. The only difference now is how points are tabulated and presented. So in accuracy mode, we saw a very large leaderboard. We saw so many winners and so many points based solely on accuracy and correct information. Lecture mode is a little bit different in how the content and questions are presented themselves. So keep an eye out for what you might see as different. I'll cue you and give some clues along the way. But without further ado, Let's jump right in lecture mode format. You'll see my game pin coming across the screen, 1980381. Feel free to play along and join with me. Of course, you can find us in the same way as before, www.kahoot.it. And while we're joining in, feel free to customize that avatar, make it speak to you and represent you. I see some sunglasses and cowboy hats and flower crowns. Glad to have everyone joining in. Hi, Maya and KP. I see Flavia, Susan. I'll give you another moment. I want to stick to our time of that 1 hour webinar. And just like now, and in any class, you can always join in with the game pin later on in the questions. We just have a few quick Kahoot questions to join us today. So if you'd like to just watch along on my shared screen, that works too. Glad to have you here. All right. So jumping into our live Kahoot, here's what you can expect. We are featuring a Teacher Talks Kahoot from our Kahoot Ambassador and Verified Creator TT. The first question to start, already you'll notice a difference. True or false, Kahoot is a great tool for students with any ability level. Hopefully you noticed that the question appeared first, giving everyone time to kind of recalibrate, get in the same speed and pace together before that question came live on your screen. True or false, Kahoot is a great tool for students with any ability level. Of course, it's true. Glad to see that we knew that pretty unanimously. In fact, I could even say that it is not just a great tool, but a perfect tool for students with any ability level. We see questions all the time on how do I differentiate Kahoot to be best fit for my students, or how can I change this Kahoot to be more appropriate for my age level, grade level, or rigor level. Some features that Vicky talked about and explored, that Pekka shared and explained, help to make that learning awesome. Or you could do what TT does and really make the content speak specifically and uniquely to the audience that you have. So continuing on. Our leaderboard is coming through. Congrats, Ermu. You are at 968 points. We do have a little bit of a tie taking us to these first questions. Another quiz to help you out, this time multi-select. So a great opportunity to add more than one right answer. Sometimes students need visual cues rather than verbal. What features help with this? Again, we heard some hints and some ideas. Do you see tools for repeating questions, sharing images as answers, adding slides to share more detail, or even adding video clips? I guess this is a little bit of a tricky question, and that really all of these tools help all learners, but specific to those that are looking for visual rather than verbal cues. We see images as answers, video clips being added in ways that you can add slides to share more details between questions. Today, we're going to focus on specifically adding in video clips. So perhaps you've tried this before. We'll talk through a demo together, but do you have any idea on how you might use video clips, specifically a YouTube or Vimeo link? This question is called Puzzle, and it is best meant for rearranging, not best meant for, it can be used for rearranging sequencing or chronological order or timelines. With puzzle questions, you'll have the start of your timeline or the earliest date or the first step in a sequence at the top, and then you'll move down. Puzzle questions can include up to 3 or 4 answer options, and as a player, you'll click on an answer tile, red, blue, yellow, or green, and rearrange it in sequence by dragging and dropping on your personal device. I typically like to add a little bit more time for the puzzle questions. You're seeing that now with fingers and the gross and fine motor skills. Sometimes you need that buffer time to really use and answer a question appropriately. So in your puzzle question, we should see that first you can add a question, then insert media, choose or add a video link from YouTube or Vimeo, and trim the length of the video to the relevant clip or section that is pertinent for your question. Seems like we need some work on this, which is what I expected. I imagined this to be pretty brand new. So we'll see a demo of this happening now.
Hello and welcome. Today, we're demonstrating how to add or upload a video to your Kahoot. Start by logging into your account and selecting Create, located in the top right corner of your screen. Then go to the Kahoot Creator. Each question or slide in your Kahoot can include a video. To add media to your question, click the plus icon. This will present you with options to add a YouTube or Vimeo video. To include a YouTube video, paste the URL or search using keywords. Then select your desired video. You can adjust the start and end time to show only a specific portion of the video. Click Add to save your changes. Please note that YouTube.
So you saw it there live. Definitely encourage you to try it out. Within a YouTube video, you can set customizations like we saw here on the length of the video, the start and the end time. And I clipped this video to be just right for our session. So you saw how to add a video by link. And we've seen this be included in all of TT's profile so far. So we were excited to partner with another educator and another creator to share exactly how these inclusive and accessible features are embedded into the Kahoot learning experience. And we're going to try it out with a sample of a few questions from TT's ASL library. So thinking about different signs and gestures for technology, this is an obvious video clip added in. If you're not familiar with ASL, use your inferencing and your context clues perhaps to guess, and we'll see how we score. The signs that this was showing are most popular. So thinking about the most popular Kahoot, most popular feature, if you're not playing in the Kahoot Live, maybe you want to add it to the chat on what feature or what tool do you find to be most popular with your students or even in your own planning. I know for me, I like to use images as answers and love to use the game modes. That would be most popular. Congrats, Maya. You're making your way to the top. Another quiz question with another sign and gesture in ASL for technology. What is this showing? Typing a search, a keyword, internet, or clicking, or click singular. Final 2 seconds. Wow, a typing search. Wondering if that was something we had already familiarity with or even brand new. I'm imagining it did shake up our leaderboard quite a bit. Congrats, Carrie, at the top. We're in 2 questions left. Another signing for technology. Is this keyword, laptop, window, or computer? Perhaps these are signs and gestures you want to share back with your own students in your own classroom. Hopefully try to pick some simple ones that felt could resonate in any classroom. Showing this is really laptop. Congrats, not much change. Excited to see this learning. Another sign for technology. In this, are we seeing open window, close window, or closed window? So context clues hopefully help you to decide the topic or the category, but we're looking for some specificity. What do you see? This was window in general. 41 people knew this sign already. And still at the top, we have Carrie, Ange, and Maya. Their last quiz question, see if it gives us a shakeup of our leaderboard. Are we seeing cell phone, laptop, network, or computer here? Let's check it out. In our final 3 seconds, we were seeing network. A drum roll, please, for our leaderboard and see how our podium really shook out. Congrats, Maya, in our 3rd place. We have Ange in our 2nd place and 1st place at the top. Very wonderful job. Hopefully, no matter where you fell in the podium and how you may have scored, this was a cool learning experience for you. Nonetheless, very glad to have partook and experienced with you either way. In all of the teacher talks today and in all of our speaker conversations and presentations, hopefully you got an even better and clearer look at all the ways to make learning so much more awesome and accessible and inclusive in your classroom experience. Sometimes there are opportunities for joining the game live. Thanks for sticking with us for those that were unable to join the game, but hopefully you got to see the experience through the shared screen nonetheless. In our last few moments before curtain call, just want to give a few final reminders to stay tuned and stay in the loop on your email. We will be sharing links and resources that were shared from today's session, as well as the entire webinar recording so that you can watch on demand. You can look out for that email within the next 2 days or so, and please be in touch if you have any questions or want to follow up on something specific. I also want to make sure that we give an awesome, grateful, and very connected shout out to all of our presenters and speakers joining in from near and far, and of course, participants just like you for giving us some of your time. We know that teachers are so insanely always working busy around the clock, and we do not take this lightly. So thanks for sharing your brain power with us, and we hope you continue learning alongside Kahoot. So be sure to visit our on-demand page at www.kahoot.com/webinars to keep your learning awesome and engaged and interactive. And we hope to see you at the next webinar too. We'll be closing out the 2025 webinar season next month, and we'd love to continue seeing you on the podium. So thanks for joining in. Very glad to have participated and learned along so many other educators and awesome Kahoot teachers of awesome today. And we'll see you next time. Happy Kahooting.